So first we're going to start with the 1/3 cup of water. So if we're going to double it, we're going to multiply it times 2, so 1/3 times 2. Or if it helps you understand it better with the fractions, you can write 2/1. And as we know, you just multiply the numerators and then the denominators. So we need 2/3 cup of water. So I'm going to go ahead and get my 1/3 cup. And I'm going to get 2/3 cup. Okay, 2/3 cup, check. And now we're going to need 1 cup of buttermilk, but we're actually going to need 2 cups. So, okay, gotta stop. I only did 1 cup of buttermilk. Okay, I've added the water, and now we're going to add, we're just going to go ahead and add 2 cups of buttermilk because we know that 1 times 2 is 2. So here's the buttermilk. Okay, next we have 2 tablespoons. Big T in recipes means tablespoons, and a little t like this means teaspoon. So we're going to 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, so we're going to do 2 times 2 is 4 tablespoons, and 4 tablespoons is actually a 1/4 cup, which is measurements, which we'll learn later. But I'll just go ahead and do 4 tablespoons. Oh, of vegetable oil. This will make the bread nice and crispy on the outside. Okay, and the next thing is 1½ teaspoons of salt. So here's where we're going to go ahead and do our fractions. So we have 1½ teaspoons. So if it's easier for you, you can go ahead and do the mixed fraction and make it into an improper fraction. So we know we do 2 times 1, which is 2. And then we add the numerator. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3/2 will be the improper fraction. And we're doubling it, so we're going to multiply it times 2/1. And like we said, we multiply the numerators, that will be 6. And then we multiply the denominators, which will be 2. And then we need to put it back into a mixed fraction so we know exactly how many cups and things like that we need. So we're going to do 6 divided by 2. Oops. Hold on, just stop now. Okay, now we're going to do our 1½ teaspoons of salt. Little t for teaspoon. So in order to multiply this times 2 in the easiest way, you're going to want to make this mixed fraction into an improper fraction. And this is Tyler. She's going to help us make our bread today. Hello, Tyler. You like fractions, don't you? Yeah, fractions are good. Okay, so we're going to do mixed fraction into improper fraction. So that's going to be the denominator times the whole number. That's the little trick. So 2 times 1. And then you're going to add the numerator in, so that'll be plus 1. You probably already know how to do this. So it'll be 2 plus 1 will be 3. And then you still have to keep the denominator to make it an improper fraction. So it will change into 3/2. Hopefully you're following me. If not, we can talk about it. So we have 3/2, and we're doubling the recipe, remember? So we're going to multiply it times 2/1. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. So then we're going to make it back into an improper fraction. And lo and behold, it's just going to be 6 divided by 2, which you should know is 3. So 3 is what we're going to put into our bread, 3 teaspoons of salt. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's my salt. Okay. You can go ahead and stop now. So now we're going to do the 1/4 cup of brown sugar. A 1/4 cup is just saying 1/4, 1/4. So we're going to double it. We're going to multiply times 2, which will equal 2 numerators over 4 denominators. And then if you know how to reduce, it's like saying finding the common number that both of these digits have. So we're going to do 2, because 2 goes into 2 and 2 goes into 4. Justin, what are you doing? So now we're going to go ahead and do this 1/4 cup of brown sugar. A 1/4 cup is just like saying 1/4, 1/4. So we're going to multiply it times 2 because we're doubling the recipe. And this is Julian, the other cat that likes fractions. He loves fractions and he loves helping me cook. This is his little seat here on the trash can. Thanks for helping, Julian. So we're going to do the numerators, which will be 1 times 2. Then we're going to do the denominators, 4 times 1. And then we're going to reduce them. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we're going to end up with 1/2 cup of brown sugar. So let's go ahead and add the 1/2 cup. It's going to be some nice sweet and salty bread. Okay, got that in there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do the 3 cups of flour, but we don't really need to do too much multiplication with this because we know that 3 times 2 equals 6. So I'm going to go ahead and put 6 cups of flour in there. And I have whole wheat organic flour, so it's going to be very healthy. Really good. Really good. I mean, I'll cut this part out, but I'm supposed to. Very large loaf. Alright, fill the brim here. That's good, that's what we want. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and do the 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. And that may be a little intimidating, but it's okay. We're going to do it. So we have 2 1/4. So first, let's take this mixed fraction and put it into an improper fraction. So we're going to do 4 times 2 plus 1, which will give us 8 here, plus 1 is 9. And we're going to keep the denominator, remember, so it'll be 9/4. And let's get some more room here. Okay, so we have 9/4 now, and we're going to multiply it times 2. So we're going to do 9 times 2 is 18, and 4 times 1 is 4, so that's going to be our doubled recipe quantity. And then we need to put it back into in the mixed fraction. So we're going to do 18 divided by 4. Let's see, I know my quick double, so I know that 4 times 4 is 16. And that will be the closest thing to 18. So I will do 4 minus 16. That will give me remainder 2. I have no idea what that means now. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and do the 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. So we're going to take our 2 1/4 mixed fraction and we're going to make it into an improper fraction. So we're going to do 4 times 2 plus 1. We know 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And then we need to remember to put our denominator back in here. So we're going to have 9 over 4. And then we need to multiply it times 2 because we're doubling it. So 9 over 2 times 2 over 1. And if you know the cross multiplication rules, then you know that this will cancel each other out. So pretty much we're going to end up with 9. So now what we're going to do is we're supposed to have 9 teaspoons, but I'm going to tell you a little secret. There are 3 teaspoons per tablespoon. So when we learn about conversions, you'll learn about this. But for now, I'm just going to tell you, we're going to end up with 3 tablespoons because we have 9 teaspoons. So we'll learn about that later. But for now, I'll just go ahead. So now we're going to do our 9/4 and double it. And if you want to go ahead and do the reduction there, you can do that. So we'll end up with 9 over 2. And then we'll make it back into a mixed fraction. So 2 goes into 9 4 times with a remainder of 1. So we're going to end up with 4 remainder 1 teaspoons. And actually it's going to translate into tablespoons. And we haven't done conversions yet, but we'll learn that soon. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you for time's sake that it's going to be 3/4 tablespoons. So let me go ahead and put the tablespoons in. Pretend. You can cut now. Okay, so now we've put in all of the ingredients, and we have been waiting for the bread to rise. It's got about 10 more minutes if you want to come take a look. It was about, half that size when it started, so it's got to rise. And then when we're done, we're going to take it out, and we're going to divide it in 2 and put it in our pan. And we've got our temperature set to 350, and it only has to bake for 30 minutes. So really, this bread in total takes about 2 hours, but most of that is just rising time, so you don't really have to do anything to it. It just sits there and gets warm. So we're going to wait for the bread to finish rising, and then we'll put it in the oven. Look at all that. So we're just going to divide this into 2, so that we have 2 loaves, of course. And then we're going to shape them into loaves so that they bake into, a loaf like you would see at the store. Just kind of roll it up, make it pretty. And I like to put the ugly side down. Oh, that's going to be very pretty. Just kind of roll it and pinch it together so the dough sticks. And then flip it to the pretty side. Alright. And those will get bigger. And we'll put it in the preheated oven. And we'll wait for the magic. And we'll set our timer for 30 minutes. Alright, we'll see when it's done. The timer's gone off. Oh, it looks great. Okay, we'll set the timer to let it cool for a few minutes, and we'll go ahead and put some butter on it right now. Get it nice and glazy. Oh, it smells so good. Melting right on there. Can you see that? A little TLC. Makes it taste real good. Okay, we'll slice in a couple minutes. Gonna cut it up now. See how it looks. Still very hot. Oh, it looks real good. See the inside? Nice and spongy. Got some butter here. Go ahead and butter. I guess you can just use this one. It's already open. Put some butter on it. We got some raw honey. I love raw honey the best. It's so good. Spread it on there. And let's taste it. That's good. I wish you could taste it. It's so good. Alright, so this has been our lesson on baking and how we use fractions in the real world. And as you can see, it comes out pretty good. Even if you have to double it, you do your math correctly. So that's why we learn stuff like this in school, so that we can use it in the real world. So here's multiplying fractions in a recipe. And maybe sometime I can bring you some bread.